Woo. Yeah. I know I'm late. Cody from After 5 tells me I'm late. Well, it happens. What's going on, man? How y'all doing? Hoosier, what's up? How you doing? Give me a second. I am kind of running late tonight. One thing is another. So I hope everybody's doing good tonight. Sorry I'm late. I worked late, and then which makes when you work late, then supper's late, and then everything gets running late. So we're here now. Not much, man. Just gonna hang out with y'all tonight. I was supposed to have two guests tonight. Chris from Duckalope Outdoors, but he texted me about 20 minutes ago. His son is, hey Mark, how you doing? His son is they're at urgent care with his son. He's kind of upset. I think they may have the flu. Appreciate it, brother. So I don't think he's going to be here. And I'm also going to have Bruce from Foul Play Outdoors again. He's going to be coming on tonight, and he's running about 10 or 15 minutes late. So hopefully he'll be here. We're going to be talking about some ducks, just ducks, duck hunting, you name it. Anything and everything has to do with ducks. See what's going on. Claude, how you doing? Long time no see. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. I know a lot of people don't think about duck hunting in May, but for me, it's all the time. That's all I do is think about it. Is think about going duck hunting and what I can do, and that kind of thing. Bougie, what are you doing? Bougie, why are you chewing that bag? Well, Bougie's over here on the floor chewing her training bag. You leaving now? How did you? She's been a mess today. She has gotten in so much trouble. She can't go anywhere without doing something wrong. So what is everybody else up to tonight? What are y'all going? What are y'all's? What y'all want to talk? I mean, we're going to be talking ducks soon as Bruce gets in here. If you got any questions for either one of us, something you want to know about, whatever, just give us a call. Throw it up in the chat room. I do have some more hats, a handful left. So if y'all are interested in the hats, the Daddy Duck hats, Again, they're $35, but that includes your shipping. And I only send it to the United States. Sorry, it's just United States only, because shipping out of country, I would have to up the charges. You're eating a big juicy elk burger. I just finished the best deer lasagna. My wife, in my opinion, makes the best lasagna in the world. And she made lasagna last night, and we finished it up as a leftover tonight. And of course, lasagna is like a stew. Once it kind of mingles, sits overnight and mingles, it just makes it even better. But oh man, it was great. But getting back to the hats, I still got some left. Not many, but I do have some. Again, at $35. You can go to my about page. I can take PayPal. I do prefer the Cash App, just because PayPal takes X amount of dollars from it. But PayPal and or the Cash App that's in there. It's in the about page. Once I get confirmation that you sent and give me an address, I'll put it in the mail. It was. So does yours, Mark. I'll take that back. I've had elk once. And it was good. Oh, it was real good. Let's see here. Is Cody, are you still here? You still in here, or did you just type in you're late and then left? Ron, how you doing? How you doing tonight? But yes, once Bruce gets in here, we'll get the conversation going a lot more. But Charles Holden, what's going on? But yeah, we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff tonight. Ducks, dogs, guns, decoys, boats. Pontoon Jody, what's going on? Whoops. Good, getting ready to work on our duck swamp. Cool. Well, let me see if I can get Bougie here. Here. She might not be able to hear me, or she's not. She's upset with me right now. Jody, I don't know if you've seen her. I got a new puppy. She's around here somewhere. She might be back asleep, but that's her right there. Whoop. That is her. Here's a. Well, daggone. I'm just having a bad day today. So she usually come in here, sleeps in here when I'm in here, but No, she's mad at me right now. Mm-mm. It has to be a Diet Mountain Dew or a Mountain Dew Zero. We're going to be talking, like I said, we're going to talk, you know, anything and everything about duck hunting, man. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what I enjoy doing. I do have some stuff that I've done some videos. Hey, Anti, what's going on, brother? I've got a lot of a B-roll video right now. I've been having the worst luck with videos here in the last month. Uh, hey, Sweet Pea, what's going on? I have either uh, had no audio or too much wind noise or out of focus. I mean, you name it. I've been having a rough time with videos here lately. So I do have some stuff that I'm trying to edit. Um, Getting ready to edit. I have not had time. Barely had time to actually do the video itself. When I came back to preview it before editing, I had to scrap a lot of stuff and had to redo it and that kind of thing. So I'm kind of hoping I can get something out to y'all. Y'all have a lot of people in here have been wanting me to do more um, cooking videos because of the off season. So I've got one started. We'll see how it comes out later. Um, got some video of Bougie during some training. So hopefully that little video will come out soon. I did go fishing Saturday. It was kind of rainy and not say it was cold or anything, but it was just rainy. So I wasn't able to get a lot of video because of it. And it seemed like every time I caught a fish, it was raining. So I didn't have any cameras running. I had them put up. That's kind of luck I've been having when it comes to video. So, but we did catch a couple fish and got permission this week to on another fish pond to put up some wood duck boxes. So hopefully, I know it's kind of late in the year to put up wood duck boxes, but we're going to get those out. We're going to try to get some put together and then get those put in place, hopefully for next year. But we got a lot of things going. I'm trying to catch up on somebody's chat here. All right. Let's see. Hey, Bruce, just grab a hold of that link I just put in the chat room and come on up. Once we get him on up here, we can start. Where you at, Bo? You're probably having trouble like I am. Here he is.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Hooked up. Here I am.
Hey, Tina.
What's going on, everybody? You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You might want to drop your camera down just a tad bit.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go.
Now we can see your face and not just your glasses. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing good. I got a message from Chris about 20 minutes prior to coming on.
Sure.
Or 30 minutes prior. And his son is hang on one second. Hey, Tom. Long time no see, man. How you doing? His son, they had to take him to urgent care.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
I think they got like a stomach flu or stomach virus or something. So I don't think he's gonna be here tonight. So it looks like it's just gonna be us two. Now, he may show up. You never know with Chris. So
no, you gotta take care of the kids, right?
That
comes first. So let me just down just a little bit more there.
And I was running late tonight.
It happens. Our dinner ran a little later than normal, so. But anyway, so what's on everybody's mind tonight?
I think they're just here to hear us.
Oh boy! Wow. Okay. I don't know what everybody else has been up to. I've been trying to get ready to grow some rice in some of my holes. I'm a little behind schedule on some of it. We've had a bunch of rain here. Actually got a flood that flooded all my stuff out, put it under about 10 feet of water.
Hey, Daniel.
Right after Easter.
That's Backwoods Barbarian. Dude, let me tell you something. That guy's got a channel now. You need to go check him out. Yeah.
All right, cool.
He's up in Eastern Canada. I don't know if he's still in Nova Scotia or where he's at now anymore, but he's about as crazy as a bed bug. You got Tina in here, Anti's in here. Let's see here, Tom Keltage. You're in Labrador now. Okay. Yeah, I ain't seen Daniel in a while. Yeah, he's good. He's got a good channel. But did you ever get a hold of Ty? Did he ever get a hold of you?
He called me the other day, but I don't know if he left a message for me. I just haven't had a chance to get back to him. So
okay,
I've been busy pretending I'm an electrician all day today. So yeah, but whatever. I mean, I can manage.
Yeah, I don't do electricity.
I didn't do the plumbing work, but I can handle a little electrical work, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, I don't do electricity at all. Nope.
Well, it could be. It can be dangerous. So
when I was younger, I got thrown up against the wall, and I said, "Nope, no more."
I actually used to work with a guy that built and wired his whole house, and it burned down due to faulty wiring.
Ooh.
Yeah, that wasn't a good day for him, I'm sure.
So you had a flood.
We had a flood that put me, and I'm working on a video to kind of go through some of the thought process and planning that I did to get ready for planting stuff this season. But we had a couple of floods, actually one right around Easter that put everything underwater and then just got everything soaking wet. So I couldn't get work done out there. And then beavers worked against me trying to drain water off of one of my spots. So, I'd get in there and clear it out, and they'd come in right behind me and plug it back up. So I'm a little behind schedule. I kind of wanted to have everything planted and ready to go by June 1st, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. And
Mm-mm.
I've been a one-man show. I can't haven't been able to get any help out there yet. So it's been hard on my old back for sure. But one of the cool things I think I sent you a picture the other day, and this is neat. So last year, in the spot where I planted rice, I actually had a bunch of barnyard grass come up in there just naturally, which is a great wild millet. And after I drained that spot and I've been back in there, that stuff, it looks like a lawn growing in there now. So anywhere where that seed, I think there's some rice that stayed viable and has sprouted, and then a bunch of the barnyard grass is coming in as well. So I'm not even going to have to plant it. I'm going to let it grow wild. I've got some smartweed in there as well. I'm going to let that grow wild, and since it's all naturalized, I haven't planted anything this season. I can mow it down before I flood it. So
Right.
that's looking pretty good.
Good. Well, I think I told you on the phone the other day. We finally got permission to put up some wood duck boxes on
Yeah,
that pond,
yeah,
and so I'm real excited about that. I know it's late to put the boxes up,
they'll be there for
but
next season,
hey, if I can get them and get them put out,
right?
something will sit in them, you know, and then hopefully next year we'll have wood duck. We did bust up maybe 10 or 15 off the pond that the other morning.
Yeah.
So, and they've already had boxes. He had boxes out there once before,
Uh-huh.
so the posts are still there, and they're good cedar posts. So they're not going anywhere. And so all we just need, and the predator guards are on them. We are going to put some up next to the tree line, away from the water,
Yeah.
probably, I don't know, 30 yards away from the tree line. Put a few boxes there.
You know, they may still use them this season. I think I saw a hen. I know I saw a hen with a brood right around Easter, and I think it takes them about 6 weeks to fledge, maybe. But wood ducks are pretty good about if conditions are good, they'll raise two broods. You know, they'll about
Yeah, they
25% of
will.
the time, I think. So you might still get some activity in there. Who knows?
Well,
So
like I said,
I saw Mark made a comment about knowing how to take care of beavers.
oh
So
yeah,
I actually am not to the point where I want to get rid of the beavers because they are still helping me. They're keeping the main creek backed up, which is attracting ducks as well, and helping water flow into my spots. So I'm not at a point where I want to get rid of those guys. They're still they're doing me more help than harm right now. So
but they get aggravating.
yeah, yeah. There's a reason we have the phrase "busy beavers" because they don't. I don't think they ever sleep.
Well, let me ask you, and I may have asked you last time we talked, but again, you know, I want the people who are in here who don't subscribe, you haven't subscribed to your channel yet, or don't know you that well. How long you been duck hunting?
About 4 decades now, I guess. I
Yeah,
think my dad started taking me when I was 10 or 12 years old. So pretty much my entire life.
right,
I did have to take when I first moved to North Carolina about 20 years ago. I just life and all of that jazz kind of got in the way, and I wasn't able to go for several years. Um, but then have finally kind of gotten back to it.
right.
But yeah, I've been doing it my whole life. Just I mean, as long as I was old enough to get out there in a pair of waders and carry a shotgun.
I started when I was 7.
Wow.
I actually
Yeah.
shot my first duck when I was 7.
I don't know that my dad had even started duck hunting when I was 7. My dad, I guess would you call him a first generation sportsman? It wasn't something that his father did, but he had a huge interest from the time he was a little kid in fishing and stuff anyway. And it wasn't until he was probably about 30 when we moved to the town I grew up in. And I was about first or second grade. And then that's when the guys that he taught with were big duck hunters. And
Right.
that's how he had, it was the outdoors. He loved fishing. And it was the outdoors. So he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Went and bought an old Stevens 311 side by side 12 gauge. I don't think it was it wasn't a hammer gun, but it wasn't far removed
All
from
right.
it. Yep. And he hunted with that. I vaguely remember it, but first gun I remember him carrying was the one he still carries, which is his old 870 Wingmaster. So
Right.
um,
I got one in the cabinet behind me.
I do as well. I don't have a 12 gauge. Mine's a 20, but and I've passed on a couple of nice used ones that I should have picked up for pretty short money. But next time I see a good one, it's probably coming home with me.
Well, speaking of that, what's your gun of choice?
I shoot a Beretta, right? For the most part now, I shoot a Beretta A300 Outlander. It's not a 3.5-inch gun. I have a 3.5-inch gun. That hurts too bad. But I like it. It's good, reliable. The Beretta fits me well. Most of their guns that I've picked up and pointed, and I've shot some of their over-unders, some of their silver pigeon. I've shot some of those at Clay's courses and stuff. They just seem to fit me well. And that's that's the most important thing with a shotgun is maybe the super bad boy whatever 3, 4, 5, whatever they call them these days. Those are awesome, and I'm all those things are good guns, but if they don't fit you, you might as well just be shooting blanks, right? So with a shotgun,
Right.
fitment is the king, and this has been. I used to joke that Beretta should send me some royalty checks because I've sold probably 6 or 7 of them to my friends. That most of the guys that I hunt with carry the same thing. So, and it's given me no issues. It's been a good gun. But I have a, just like you, I'm sure I've got a safe full of guns, and I'm gonna try to shoot some other ones. I took my old 20 gauge pump this season and blew a wood duck into smithereens with it, but it was just a little close. But yeah, that's what I'm carrying most of the time now.
Mark is saying, "Hey Matt, tell Bruce why I shoot a 3.5-inch." Well, I can tell you the reason he shoots a 3.5-inch is because they don't make a 4-inch.
Because they don't make a 4. Yeah, that's the one I have is a Mossberg pump, and it's a very light gun. And I shot the 3.5 when I first got it, and I was just like, eesh, I don't think I want to do that anymore.
The Mossberg 835 pump, the 3.5-inch.
Yeah,
I shot it for a season, and we were coming back at a boat ramp, and there was a guy there, and we got to talking, and he saw my gun, and he says, what is that? And I said, it's an 835 Mossberg, 3.5-inch gun. He goes, do you want to sell it? And I said, well, not really. Because I don't really like selling guns, but he had the money in his pocket, and he had more money than I thought it was worth. And
right.
I said, later.
Yeah.
But that gun used to beat me to death.
Yeah, it does. It does. And, because I remember, and I'm sure you do too, when we had to switch to steel, and steel now is much better than it was way back then when we had to make the switch in the 80s or 90s. It didn't happen everywhere in the country at the same time, right? But when we first switched to steel, it was not. It's better now. I still don't prefer it. But with we talked about it last time with the new Boss Bismuth stuff.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
you're shooting that, right? Boss?
What's that?
You're shooting Boss, aren't you?
Yeah, and I shoot 2 3/4.
Yeah.
I have some 3-inch number 4 that I bought when we went to Arkansas 2 years ago because our East Coast mallards aren't the same mallards that they have in the rest of the country. Ours are all descended from game farms. But I knew we were going to be hunting specks as well, speckled belly geese or white-fronted geese, as the proper name is. So
Talk
I
about
took
it.
some 4s as well, and I'll end up shooting them. I mean, but there's, I'll probably hang on to them if I get into some specs, or if I ever, go absolutely insane and try to target Canada geese.
Charles Holden says, I think we switched to steel in 91.
There was finally a federal mandate, but it actually varied. Because I remember, I think I was still in high school, and I graduated in '86. So I grew up in Kentucky, and I think by the time before I graduated from high school, we had to switch, but it was different in different parts of the country.
Right.
Because I had a conversation about this with a guy. He's like, no, it was this time like that. And I was like, no, I remember it was like this. And then I looked it up, and it turns out we were both right. It wasn't the same.
So I graduated in 83, and in South Carolina, we switched, I think, my senior year. Yeah. I want to say it was my senior year, because that was the year.
That sounds about right for me too. Yeah.
That was, if I remember right, it was one of our best years.
Yeah.
And we had ducks everywhere, and we could not hit them for nothing. I mean, but yeah. I had this conversation with a couple of people a while back as well. And they asked me, said, well, when did y'all switch to steel? I said, the only time I switched to steel is when the game warden's near.
Yeah.
I absolutely, I've got a 16 gauge Browning, Belgian Browning, and I was not going to put steel through it. I got a 16 gauge 1100.
Yeah.
And, but you couldn't find the 16 gauge steel hardly. You had to order it. None of the stores would carry it.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I switched to a 12 gauge. I mean, up until then, I had a 12 before then, but I didn't need it. And so I went through a lot of guns. I mean, I've got quite a few of them still behind me. I got the Brown. I got a side by side Browning. And I got a Benelli, first generation Benelli. That I love that gun. That gun fits me perfect. I quit shooting it because we were getting the bismuth was coming out. I was buying bismuth and that kind of stuff, and that's when I switched back to my 16 gauge. And and this was even pre-Boss. I mean, before Boss came out.
Yeah.
But I tried Boss for the first time last year, and I was sold.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I was sold.
I don't think I'll ever make at least not for duck hunting. If I ever decide to go turkey hunting, maybe. But I don't see me ever throwing tungsten at ducks.
No.
That $5 a shot kind of thing is a little steep for me.
See, Charles saying in 1985, I was shooting lead. Christmas of '83, we had a strong cold front came in, and we had birds for the rest of the season.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, in '83, I mean, that was my last year before I went off to the Marine Corps, and it was absolutely phenomenal. We had birds everywhere, dude. I mean, you couldn't leave the boat landing without running over birds. I mean, they were just everywhere.
That's nice.
But that daggum steel shot, man, I'm gonna tell you right now. I mean, you'd hit duck, and you hit them, yeah. And
I hated those ones that you would hit and see them fly 300 yards and then fall.
Yep.
Hey, I don't know if South Carolina has announced your seasons and regulations next year, but ours came out about a week or so ago, and they've changed this back to 4 mallards on the Atlantic Flyway, which
right. Yeah, South Carolina will wait until the day before.
I assume the whole Atlantic Flyway. I don't think.
No, it'll be the whole Atlantic Flyway.
Yeah, but so we're back to 4, and I knew that was coming. I had heard through some podcasts and stuff with Delta and DU that was going to be the recommendation, is to go back to 4.
Well, I mean, I can argue it. I don't think we have the population for the Atlantic Flyway. I'm a blunt kind of person, so
Sure.
Bear with me, but there's a lot of private impoundments who still raise mallards, and there's money there, and when money talks, and that's I just don't think we have the wild mallard population to go back to 4. I personally think we ought to drop the wood duck limit back to 2, but the wood duck just takes such a hammering in the southeast. Both in North and South Carolina, and I know Georgia. I mean, they
I did not realize until recently, and it was again information I got on podcasts, that 100 years ago that a mallard was pretty rare on the East Coast. They just naturally weren't here. It was all black ducks
mostly.
And then these game farms, like you said, started releasing 1 million or whatever of them a season every year, and it wasn't even wild mallards, because they didn't do well brooding in pens. It was this mallard-like duck that came over that they got from game farms in Europe, which apparently the hens don't make great mothers. They don't have as good a nesting success, and they don't do as well feeding on natural vegetation. But the mallard is actually not historically or naturally not a common bird on the East Coast. It was all black ducks, but all that.
Well, there is an Atlantic Flyway mallard that's a wild duck, but again, the game farm, even way back. I mean, you just keep going back and back and back and back. It pretty much bred that out. It's like a lot of other things.
Yeah, there are some.
Yeah, Well, what we get in the wild duck is a lot of crossover, and majority of them are going to come out of Pennsylvania, but a while back, I mean, when I was a kid, you talk about black ducks. I mean, I saw flocks of black ducks, upwards to 50 to 75 in a flock.
Yeah, that's cool.
We had a lot of them. I mean, there was a couple places that we would go to when the time got right, when when the weather was perfect, the water levels were up. We had a spot and we just went there and shot black ducks.
Wow. They were pretty rare where I grew up, right up, in western Kentucky, right off the Ohio Mississippi rivers. You'd see them, but they weren't common.
Let's see.
Hey, Ron.
Charles is saying something, but anyway, Cody said something. What should I think the merganser limit should be?
If I know what they are before I pull the trigger, the limit's 0.
Exactly.
I don't know. I hear they're pretty good with tartar sauce on them. A little squeezed lemon or something.
They're a beautiful bird. I have yet to shoot. Well, I've shot them, but I have yet to shoot one that I wanted to get mounted, and that's something I want to get done is have one mounted. Hey, what are you doing? Bougie came to visit. Let's see. Rebecca is in here. I don't know if Pontoon Jody is still here, but here's Bougie. She is getting big. Here in a couple
That's what I was
months, I
about
ain't
to
gonna be
say.
able to do this.
Getting big, isn't she?
She is getting huge. But let's see here. Oh. So what do you think about decoys? What's your take on decoys?
I've got pretty much all Avian X right now. I did need some more wood duck decoys a few years ago, and when I was in Cabela's, their branded decoy was slightly larger and looked nicer than the Avian X, so I picked up some of those. I got some Higdon ringnecks, I think, just because Avian doesn't make any. But for the most part, my stuff is all Avian X. I do like, and they've held up pretty well. I've even got some of the flock black ducks. They've held up pretty good. But I put them in slot bags, right, so they don't get beat around. I've seen and hunted over when I was in Arkansas the last time some of the lifestyle decoys. If you've seen those,
Lifetime.
Lifetime. That's it. Lifetime.
Yeah, they're now called Heyday.
Oh yeah, they changed the name.
They've changed their name. They're now Heyday. Yep.
Those look good. They're pricey, but I may get some of those. I'm not in any need for decoys right now. I'm set for a while. Those look neat if you're a walk-in hunter because you can take the keel weights out and they're a little lighter, but you just have to set them. So
that's all I've got right now.
Yeah.
Other than I got like 4 plastic wood ducks. I have maybe 24 plastic divers, but right now I'm running 4 dozen of the Lifetime mallards, a half a dozen pintails, a half a dozen widgeon. I got 18 blue wing teal, 6 of the green wing teal, 2 dozen combination of bluebill and redheads, all in the Lifetime decoys right now.
Cool.
I'm sold on those decoys. I don't, if they'll ever make wood duck decoys, I'll get rid of those.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do like that product. It's worth it for me. I know that they're kind of pricey, but
if they last 2 or 3 times as long, it's cheaper.
I have yet to. I mean, none of mine are fading. Now I don't leave them out.
Yeah.
I do hang them when the season's over with. But I do throw them in the bottom of the boat. I have stepped on them. I have walked on them. I have driven over them. I have drug them. Paint's still good, and it's just for me, if I'm unless I'm hunting with somebody else, that says, hey, I got everything, you just come get in the boat or we're going to walk in here.
Yeah.
I will always carry them things.
They look good. And I've seen there's another channel, and this guy's more professional. He's a guide, and he's actually a professional videographer. Actually, has produced a lot of stuff for Hank Parker and stuff. So his channel is a little bit more professional than ours, but expected. But it's a Surviving Duck Season, Joel Strickland.
Yeah, Joel Strickland. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I hunted with in Arkansas last time I went. But
okay.
I saw on his channel, he ran over him with a truck.
Yeah.
And they popped up just fine. So
I ran over mine with an ATV.
Yeah.
I did a video on them. We just had an ATV, and I just, hey, run over it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I have shot one, but not intentionally. And I was real surprised at what it took. I mean, it took a full load of number 5s right in the head.
Yep.
Not a problem.
I've got some shot in one of mine that I blame my buddy Tom. Tom was here last time. He's not here tonight, but I blame him. We had a couple of mallards come in, and and just about land on us. And I blame him for shooting the decoy when we took those mallards. But it still floats. So hey, Ron is down there asking, is it worth putting out wood duck decoys because our woodies just die above us? Ron, that's my experience too. But Matt, you take this because Matt, and I'm going to make him prove it to me, and I'm gonna make him. I'm gonna watch him do it. Says he can actually call decoys and call wood ducks and get them to decoy.
And I will say it doesn't happen every time, but it's just like any other duck. But I will say that if I'm hunting a swamp, where I know where there's going to be wood ducks, I'm going to have wood duck decoys. I'm also going to have them on a jerk string, and that is the key. The key is having some around you and with a jerk string. And you don't really need to put your jerk string where they can always see it. You can put it a little bit deeper into the woods.
Yep.
Because they're looking for the splashing, the splashing and the noise. That's what really, along with a wood duck call, really puts them down on the water. I've just done it too many times.
Yeah.
I got really good friends that keep telling me, no, you can't do it. I'm like, we just did it.
Yeah.
Well, they just wanted to be here. Well, if that's the case, so did that mallard.
Yeah.
He just really wanted to be there.
I guess they're not as
they're not as callable as mallards.
That's what I was going to say.
I've run multiple jerk rigs, and I've hunted by myself where I ran 3 or 4 jerk rigs by myself, and that can get,
that's. I saw something recently. It's some guy had it on here on YouTube somewhere, and I'm going to try to rig one up, and I'll share that in a video. It'll be closer to the season probably, but this guy rigged up. So he took like a retractable clothesline, and I think he took whatever that line was out and put like paracord or something else in it. But it's like a spool, right? Like a retractable spool, and he attaches that to a stake out in the water. And he'll put some decoys on a spreader rig, one of those things that'll put like 4 or 5 decoys on it. And then he'll run a string back. It's called a dive reel. I guess if you're scuba diving, it's this big reel that you can use to crank stuff in. And he'll crank that into him. And then when he releases it, and then the whole group of those decoys swim all the way across your opening. And he does that. And you can even like pull it in some and let it go back because it retracts itself.
Right.
So that was a pretty cool idea. I'm going to try to rig that up, this fall closer to the season.
We have this one little hunt that we go on every year. We call it, it's a Thanksgiving Day hunt. We set up, it takes us longer to walk in, set up than it does to actually hunt.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a wood duck hunt. But we do it every year. Just me and a group of guys. We, every Thanksgiving we get together and we go do this hunt. And all we take is a spreader rig with wood ducks on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm off. I'm back into the bushes a little bit, and I mean, with no mojos, no flappers, no, nothing of that's just that rig, that spreader jerk rig.
Right.
And my wood duck call, and we'll shoot our limits. And these ducks are coming in there, and there's no reason for them.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to hit that spot each and every time.
Sure.
But I've had them turn. I mean, literally just bank and just come right on in. And it, I wish that I had. You talk about like with Joel. I've met Joel Strickland, and I've talked to him on the phone a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I watch his channel, but if I wish that I had someone who could video while I'm doing this, because it's absolutely crazy. as long as you get your sounds right, your sitting sounds right, you got
Yeah.
that movement in the water.
Yeah.
But again, and here's my disclaimer: it's like any other duck. It doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen. But
Yeah.
when it does, I mean, I got a video out there where I was hunting in Kentucky, and we were in a dry field up next to some standing corn.
Yeah.
That hadn't been cut yet. And I saw those ducks. I hit the wood duck call, and they locked up and came in. And we shot them.
Wow.
I mean, you can't, you just can't, well, they just wanted to, why would they want to be there and not 150 yards behind me in the swamp?
Sure. Yeah. And wood ducks aren't as big of a field feeder as like mallards and
Right.
other stuff is, right? So, whereabouts in Kentucky were you hunting?
We were hunting near Irvine.
Where's that? I think you told me that.
By central Kentucky.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I would say, I think the biggest town next to it is called Richmond.
Okay.
Maybe
Richmond, Kentucky.
Richmond, yeah.
That's where East Kentucky University is. So I've been there. Yeah, that's central Kentucky, up near close to Ohio.
She's coming back here.
Yes, the demon.
The demon.
Yeah, come on.
The demon dog is aggravating everybody in there. Typhoon Hooten. Yeah, Jeff, you're right. Sitting sounds are the key. Most hunters around me use flying sounds. If you're using a flying sound, the duck's flying, you're flying, everybody's flying. You know, Phil Robinson said it best. Use the sitting sounds.
Sure. Yeah.
In a combination of both, and that and the jerk rig.
Yeah, I think what I have heard is that wood ducks do respond very well to motion.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, the more splashing, and they're very vocal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got a lot of that splashing going on, that movement in the water, along with the calls and calling, your chances are, shoot way up there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you use the Duck Commander wood duck call, right? Isn't that what you told me?
Yeah.
What have the label's worn off of mine? I don't even know what it is. I picked it up somewhere about 1,000 years ago. That's my wood duck.
Looks like an old Fox.
I don't know. It's like I said, whatever labeling branding was on it is long gone. So yeah, there's no. I don't even remember where I got. I think I've had this. Gosh, I don't even remember when I got it.
Does it have a reed in it or a metal metal?
Plastic reed? I don't know. I've never had it apart. I don't think.
Well, don't tear it up.
It's metal. It's a metal with a little rubber band on it.
Yeah.
Like that. So, but I think I am going to pick up one of those Duck Commander ones, and you'll just have to teach me how to blow it.
Oh, I got mine hanging up. Yeah, I'm either going to blow that. I don't have one with me because the last one I had, I actually gave it away to a kid. But the company right here in my home state is called Big Lake Outdoors, and they make one that's called the Perfect Woody. And see, Jeff says that looks like a sure shot wood duck call.
Oh, mine?
Yeah,
it could be right. Yeah.
But he makes a really good little wood duck call. It's half the size of this one.
Oh wow!
I mean, it's a little bitty thing. It doesn't take hardly any air whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I like the reed in the Duck Commander. It's got a reed system instead of the metal, and I just think it. just think it sounds better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do. That's just my opinion, but you know, opinions are like elbows. Everybody's got a couple. You know.
Yeah. Yep. You got a string. I've tried to minimize mine. I've got my wood duck call. I've got the old. This is something. I mean, it can't be your only call, but I've got one of these 7-in-1 whistles, which I can't roll my tongue, so I can't do the pintail thing very well. I just can't. I can't get my tongue to do that. Yeah, but I'll do the. I can do a killer widgeon call on this one. And of course teal, but I may pick up one of the.
You know, you can do a Mallard Drake call on this too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. One of my buddies that hunts with us has not mastered the regular duck call yet, so when we're calling, he'll just sit there and just give that little thing. Yep. But I'm going to get one of those pintail calls that you don't have to roll your tongue. It's got a P or something in it. That green one, I guess, where you hold the sides.
Hang on.
We're going to be hunting for 4 days out in Hyde County, North Carolina this year, which I'm sure there'll be pintails out there.
Hold on. Trying to get it. It's now this doesn't have the roller ball in it, but it's similar to that.
Yeah, there's a green one. Bass Pro and all those places carry it.
Yeah.
I'll pick one up before the season. Yeah. And if I go back and hunt the sound again, like I did last year, I'll either try to find my diver call or go buy another one, because that's kind of I don't know, the structure, I guess, of the reed. I could almost do it on my duck call, but it's more of a grunting sound than it is a quack.
On the diver?
Yeah, the divers make. So even there, the ones we shot, it was like, yeah, kind of like that, yeah. I got it when I was hunting Sharon Harris is one of the lakes around here that used to have a bunch of ringnecks before they killed all the hydrilla.
Yeah.
So I got one when I was hunting out there.
Yeah, and they killed hydrilla. They took a lot of our ducks away.
Yeah. Yep. So, but then for mallards, I got my JJ Layers T1, which is a single reed. I'd always blown. Actually, the call I've been blowing for years was this cheap DU double reed call that somebody gave me at a gun show like 30 years ago, but it's held up. But I switched over. It took me a while to relearn how to call with the single reed.
Right.
But you've got more flexibility. One thing, and I'm not going to do it because this is way too loud to do in the house at this time of night. But one thing that I can do with this, maybe people can do it on a double reed, I just can't, is to get that Cajun squeal sound out of it, and I can get that quite well on this, but I can't do it on a double reed call. I don't know if that's typical or if it's just my experience.
If Chris was here, he can get the Cajun squeal out. I mean, I'd have to sit there and play with it and to get it to sound right, but he can do a Cajun squeal.
It took me a while. I watched a bunch of different guys on YouTube, call makers and stuff like that, and they're describing what to do with your tongue. And as I found recently at the dentist, I can't control my tongue. They tell me to put it on the left side of my mouth. I put it on the right side of my mouth. But I found a guy, and he's in North Carolina. He has a channel, and he does a lot of offshore fishing and duck hunting. I wish I could recall his name right now. We could post him up here. But his description was to say the word hush into the call. If you go hush, when you get that shh sound, it puts your tongue in the right. And as soon as I did that, boom, I was squealing. So that's how I learned to get a squeal in there. Is quack quack, hoot hoot hoot, and then hush 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 hush. and they give him some of those guys will draw it out, hush, and get a long squeal at the
Yeah,
end.
get it.
But I just like to add just a little bit in and vary it in and out. But yeah, that was that one guy. I should try to. I don't want to try to talk to you and browse at the same time, but I should try to find that guy just so he
Yeah,
can post him up here.
I'm a cut down guy. I like my cut down calls,
Yeah,
but on the same note, I do have a single and a double read that I keep on my lanyard.
yeah.
But if I'm anywhere in the woods, let's see here. Ted's here from
Hear
Off
you.
the Hook Outdoors. Trying to catch up. Ron says he don't like the sounds from acrylic. That's just me. Jeff Barris says I like wooden calls the best. Ron says I tried tuning my acrylic call with no luck.
I got that. Yeah, I got a DC Mondo a year or two ago.
I got one up here.
And I've been playing around. I need to get some more reeds because I've been playing around with trimming the reeds and stuff like that.
Right.
But I haven't. I've gotten it close.
Hey, Billy.
But not quite. I think I found that guy's channel. I'm just trying to see if it has the one. Actually, this says all fishing now. I thought he was duck hunting too. Sorry for looking away. Yeah, this is all fishing. Maybe he's switched over and doesn't have his duck hunting stuff in here yet anymore. Well, I guess
I have the traditional cut downs. These are my Kirk McCullochs. I've got one from Tecton up there. I've got the Mondo up there, somewhere up there. But
right.
I'm looking at one of the little shorties. Daryl Newman from the Waterfowl Company right here in my hometown. He is making a shorty right now that I may be grabbing one soon.
Yeah.
Right now, most of my money is being saved for a new purchase. So
there you go. I understand.
I don't want a pretty big purchase, so I don't want to spend anything.
Okay.
I don't have to.
I hear you. Yeah, that guy that I mentioned, Eric Williams Fishing, is his YouTube channel, and it is mostly saltwater fishing, but he does have a Cajun Squeal video. I can't post a comment.
Right.
But yeah, if anybody's interested and wants to go watch his video, it's a minute and 15 seconds, and that's all I needed. Literally, it's what I just said. Just say hush if you're trying to get the squeal out. Just saying hush into the
what's the name?
Caller. Eric Williams Fishing, and I think he lives somewhere on the coast, North Carolina. So most of his stuff, it appears to be his fishing content, but I have seen some of his hunting videos, and I think he's pretty new to duck hunting. He looks like he's maybe in his 30s, so he's a younger guy.
Yeah,
I think he's newer to duck hunting based on just what he said, just not having done it for many years. But yeah, it's some pretty good stuff. So yeah, I've been trying the DC Mondo, and there's been a couple times when for whatever reason I really wanted to hammer on it. Maybe it was windy, or I was trying to reach out and talk to somebody, that I'll pull it up because it is loud.
It's a different. It's when you go from blowing on a J-frame to a cut down, there is a difference. I mean, there's a huge difference, and I'm still, as much as I've blown the cut down calls, I still consider myself still learning.
They're tricky. They're tricky to. It's just a different thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, send them back to Tennessee and ask them to, and they still sound terrible. I want, when we were last time we were in Stuttgart, 2 seasons ago. Rich and Tone, which makes a DC Mondo.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have a little storefront and they have a little tap room right there in their main facility, which is cool. They had some good beers and they had cheese and salami and things like that. But you could take your call in to tune it. And my thought was, well, tuning it for you, is that going to be tuning it right for me? I mean, that seems like that would be more of a personal thing.
Well, if John is there, the last time I was there, I had a micro, and it just wasn't sounding right.
Yeah.
And I had actually bought it, and I went back and I said, I bought this call from here the other day, and I just can't get it to sound the way I want it to, and I don't have any extra reeds and stuff to start cutting and shaving and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it and he blew into it and said, "Ain't nothing wrong with it." And I went, "Yeah, but listen to what I got." And he goes, "Yeah, that's what I want you to do. Let's step outside."
Yeah.
And we stepped outside and I hit a couple licks and he goes, hand me that call. And a little pair of scissors and whack. And he goes, "Here, try this now." And I blew it. And I said, "That's the sound I'm looking for."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah." He says, "That call off the shelf just doesn't fit your air. So I just need a little, you just need a little something."
Are you familiar with Ducklander calls? Have you heard of them?
Yep.
I've looked. I'd like to get one of their calls, but I mean, we're up into the $150 for a duck call is, that's an expensive duck call in my opinion, even though I've got a couple of them. But what I really liked about, I've heard him, it might have been on like the Rogers, Rogers Sporting Good has a podcast. Yep. I think it was on there where I heard him. And what I liked about him was a lot of people will say, well, you just have to tune your call till it sounds right. That's like when Hank Parker says, you got to let the fish tell you what they want. Well, I don't know what question to ask, right? So, but this guy, I don't remember his name, the guy that founded that company did a great job of describing, when this happens, this is why, and this is how you adjust the call for that. So I kind of thought about picking up one of their calls just because, and they'll I guess send a read kit with the call with different links. Yeah, their links are all, and they like stamp theirs out of a die to give you specific links instead of you trying to trim them with scissors and you take a little bit, and suddenly it's too much, right? So I think those Ducklander calls is something I'm interested in. I just don't have a need for another call. My T1 sounds pretty good right now. But I am interested in those guys. I had an interesting duck calling observation. It was my folks were out at Thanksgiving a couple years ago, and he went hunting with Tom and I at the club we were in at the time, and we knew some ducks were sitting in the water because we could hear them quacking off in the flooded timber. So Tom and I got out of the blind and decided we would just, we knew we weren't going to sneak up on them, but just bust them up. And they got up and flew around, and one of them landed. I guess the hen must have landed about 150 yards out in front of us. And then a little while later, we were back in the blind, and I guess the drake came back looking for her, and he swung out from behind us on the right and made a turn and was coming at us. And as we're thinking, we're going to get a shot, or I'm about to give him a greeting call, I heard that hen give him the 5-note greeting call, and man, it was like he threw out an anchor. Yep. As soon as he saw her, he just went boo, or her. As soon as she gave him that call, boop, he just dropped straight down on top of her.
Do you remember what time of year was it again?
Thanksgiving.
They have a 5-note call. And I wish I could. I can't do it. I wish I could. I've been trying to figure it out.
It's just what I would have identified as your basic greeting call.
It's a mating call. It's just a pitch or two different. I was actually doing when I did a couple of duck calling videos, And so I was doing some research, and watching, because I mean, come on, we may know how to do it, but we want to say it right.
Yeah.
And so I was doing the research on it, and I came across this call, and I said, "Man, it was a mallard hen, but it sounded different from anything I'd ever heard. Just a pitch off." And the guy was saying, "This is not the greeting call.
Really?
It is a mating call." And
I'd love to know the difference there.
it was really, I mean, it was like a little, just you could hear it.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, there's something, what's wrong with that duck?
Yeah.
And the guy that was narrating this particular video, is what he said. And he said, it's their mating. It's a hen mating call when she is looking. Now Thanksgiving is generally kind of early for that.
Right.
And it may not have been, it may have been a normal greeting call. I'm just saying,
right.
I'm just saying that they do have this call.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure those two ducks were together when we busted them up, because two ducks got up and they got separated. So he came back around specifically looking for her. And, when she called out, he probably looked down and saw her too. But that's interesting. I'm going to have to check into that.
Oh, she's getting into everything.
Yeah, she's at that age, right? Yeah.
She is.
She's bringing you socks and hats and
all kind of stuff.
Yep. That's good, though.
Yeah, Jeff saying wood is so much smoother than the sound. I think so. I mean, I do have some acrylic calls, and of course I've got polycarbonate calls on here as well, but I like wood a whole lot better. It's just on a cut down, it's kind of hard to get a wood call in a cut down. Because I mean they're traditionally come from the PS Ult, so
yeah. Hey Ron, what kind of call is that you are, maybe you've already posted, I just missed it, but what kind of call is that you're trying to tune and don't have any luck with?
Yeah, I saw that post with him, but I couldn't remember what he was saying.
I can scroll back through.
Now, what are you into? Hey, no.
Buck Gardner.
You're going to get in so much trouble.
I've got, what's this one? I think I've got a Buck Gardner call. It's a double read, though. Shoot, I was looking around. I thought I had another call sitting up here. I may have done something with it.
I like his original calls, but the stuff they're putting out now.
Yeah, I bought one a couple because my buddy bought one, and his sounded good, and it wasn't an expensive call. I think this was Buck Gardner, and I went and bought one, and we were hunting a rainy day on Reelfoot Lake about 3 or 4 years ago, and that sucker locked up on me, tight as a drum. Luckily, I always carry a spare, but it just I mean, we were calling. I don't know if you ever hunted Reelfoot Lake, but
yeah,
you hunt from sun up till 3 p.m. And, you have to be off the water at 3 p.m. And you stay out there. I mean, but they cook you breakfast and lunch,
Right.
Which was pretty cool. I picked this up. This is a cheap quackhead. I think this is actually a rich and tone call.
Yeah.
And this is a funny story. So this is the call that I learned. If you blow a duck call in Cabela's during a pandemic, people will come out of the woodwork and hit you in the head.
They'll do what?
They will come out of the woodwork and hit you in the head. Because there was this older couple in there that was looking for a duck call for their grandson. He was trying to get into duck hunting, and they were looking at wood duck calls. And I was like, does he specifically want a wood duck call? They just want to give him a duck call. So, like I always have, I pulled this one out of a package, just like $20 maybe, and blew it. And I was like, yeah, this sounds pretty good. Get him this one. Oh my God. Here they come. Like 3 people came running at me. I'm like, fine, I'll buy the call. Whatever.
I'm not going to buy a call unless I hear it. I mean,
Exactly. Right. Now I did buy the Lairs and the Mondo. I just bought them online, but I'd heard other people blowing the JJ Lairs.
yeah.
And heard enough about the DC Mondo that I bought those. Oh, hey, Ron, I've got. Sorry to change topic, but Ron, I've got an email address just for the channel, and let me. I think I know what it is off the top of my head. Nobody's ever emailed me at it yet, so I don't know. But let me look it up real quick. It might be on the home page of my channel.
It might be on your about page.
I think you're right. Let me go there. I think I did. Oops. View email address. Yeah. So it is, you're right. It's on the about. If you go like to the home page for my channel in the about section of that, it's there. You can click on to view it, but it is foulplayoutdoors68@gmail.com, which is also the shortcut for the channel. Yeah, I've actually said this in a couple of videos, and I mentioned it someone in the comments on one of my videos today. If anybody else is doing some habitat improvement, planting something or doing clearing or whatever it is, send me some videos, and I'd love to include those. The best thing, iPhone or any kind of smartphone video is going to be just fine. Just the thing, put the phone sideways, instead of holding it upright like this, hold the phone sideways. That way you've got the wider angle view.
And you don't get the bars in it.
You don't put your finger in front of it, but just take it like this. And the key is to, sometimes I will move around too much. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Trying to hold the camera still for several seconds so people can see what you're looking at. And then just, description of what's going on, and shoot that in an email to me. If a lot of times videos are going to be too big to email, but if you just shoot me your email, we can talk about it, and I can probably give you a location to upload that to. That'll be pretty easy. But yeah, anybody else that's on here that if they're working on a spot, doing that kind of stuff, if you want to share that with us, I would love to post that on my channel. Just, it'd be cool to say, here we are generally, central North Carolina, northeast, Moose Jaw, Alaska, wherever it is you're at. No specifics, obviously, but and who's with you, what you guys are doing, what you're working on, that kind of stuff. I think it'd be really fun to share.
I am listening to you, but right now I'm fighting a devil dog right now.
I hear you. My wife calls mine the monster.
I mean, she is full of herself today.
Yeah.
I mean, full of herself. I ran her to death the other day, Saturday. We went fishing and put her in a boat for the first time. There's no motor on this boat. It's paddle only, but she kind of started getting a little antsy and whatnot. It was her first time. I knew that, so I was taking her back to the landing. She hit dry ground, buddy, and she did not stop running for the next 30 minutes. She ran and ran and ran and ran and ran. I mean, we went running across a bean field.
Yeah.
Coming back, ran somewhere else. I mean, just all kind. I mean, when we were done, I got her back in the truck, and generally she'll sit. I had my dad with me, so generally she sits in the passenger seat.
Mm-hmm.
My dad I had her in the back seat, and on the way up there to go fishing, she sat literally on the center console. That's where she sat. Then she would curl up and go to sleep on it because she didn't want to, be in the back.
Yeah.
But on the way home, buddy, she crashed out on that back seat, and I didn't even know she was there until I got home.
That's what the back seat belongs to Rosie. It's What's funny, she loves to go for a ride in the truck. If I'm outside doing something and I've got the back door to my truck open, I'll turn my back and she just jumps up in the truck. She's
Yeah.
ready to go. She's just anytime, if I want to get her going, I just ask her if she wants to go for a ride, and she is ready to go. But yeah, my truck looks like a dog lives
Oh
in the
yeah.
back seat. That's why I've been getting leather seats just because you can wash them off. I actually find that that's better than cloth. I guess I could get cloth and get big waterproof covers,
I
but
got all my seats are covered. So
yeah, I should do that because right now it's a muddy mess. We've been going out to the farm 2 or 3 times a week, and of course she runs around in the mud nonstop, rolls in it. She's an absolute
I
mess.
when I
Thank
bought my
God. Really
truck,
pretty cool.
when I bought my truck, I bought it brand new in 09, and the day I bought it, I ordered marathon seat covers.
Yeah.
And yeah, and they've been on that truck ever since. Took them about 2 weeks to get to me. So
Wow.
but once I got them, and I can't, I mean, they're camouflaged, but
Yeah.
you can tell that they are muddied up.
Yeah. I should get some. I really should. It's just I don't know. I just haven't got around to it. If they weren't leather, I certainly would.
Oh, you want to go out now? All right.
So curious if anybody that's watching, anybody have any big duck hunting trip planned this coming fall? Anybody heading out to a new state, or my buddies and I have been trying to take a trip about every other year, and we've been to Tennessee, Reelfoot Lake. We hunted 2 days there, and then jumped over to Boot Hill in Missouri, and hunted there, and then the following year I took my dad to Arkansas, and then the year after that we all went to Arkansas. That's when we hunted with Joel.
Did you when you go to Arkansas, do you hunt private or do you hunt public?
Private. I've done it with outfitters both times. What I've heard and seen of the public land hunting there, that's not for me. It's just not
crowded.
for me. Yeah, and I have a buddy that's done the Bio Me Too, and he said it was an absolute madhouse. He said dogs were jumping in other people's boats and getting in fights, and people. One guy got his boat swamped and sunk.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And if you've listened to any of the Dr. Duck podcasts,
yep,
when they talk about running to their spot, they mean running to their spot. There'll be guys that'll strip down in sneakers and shorts and run through the woods in the swamp, and everybody brings his gear in with him. And I have no interest in that. I would rather sit in my spot and maybe shoot a wood duck than go there and shoot unlimited greenheads. I just don't want it.
Billy says he's planning on hitting all the spots in Florida. Well, you are from Florida, Billy. But
watch out for them gators down there.
I'm hoping to come the end of the year. I'm gonna go back down to Florida and hunt with Billy again. I guess that would be my biggest thing that I've got planned, is to go back to Florida and hunt. I had a great time when I was there, and I want to get back. We didn't shoot any ducks when I was there, but it's still it's different. It's something that's just totally different, and I want to get back down there with him.
Yeah.
But talk about Biomeda. I've hunted it several times, and each and every time, I have a couple buddies of mine that are from there, and they will. I won't even put my boat in the water until it gets till they have the blow off, and my buddies they'll run it.
Yeah,
they'll run at 4 o'clock. As soon as they hit the whistle, hit the horn, they'll take off. And we have like 2 or 3 places that are GPSed, and I've got them on my GPS. So when they get there, they usually call me on the phone and say we're at spot A.
Yeah.
And I plug in spot A, and I,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. And from what I understand, first of all, they limit non-residents, I think, to only about 20 or 30 days that you can hunt, at least that public
Right.
area. And then you can't even be in there to scout outside of hunting time. So it's, and
No.
I mean, not that they owe us out-of-staters any, debt of service or anything, but it makes it tough for people that aren't from there to figure out how to do it, which really, I mean, I don't want to go there anyway, but I'm fine with that. They should, I think it's okay that the local guys there kind of get
Right.
the advantage, right? So, but yeah, Ron said Kansas. I'd like to try Kansas. My current biggest bucket list item for me is North Dakota. I was about 24 hours away from getting in the truck and just driving up there last year, and then just other things came up and I couldn't go. But I really want to go to that Devil's Lake area with all those little potholes. It's not on Devil's Lake, but kind of that area of North Dakota. I really would like to get up there and spend about the first 2 weeks of their season, camping or whatever and hunt ducks, because it seems pretty awesome.
If things work, I just don't know if it's going to work out this year because of an item that I'm trying to purchase.
Uh-huh.
A very big ticket item, but I want to get up to Minnesota. He was in here earlier. I still don't know if he's still here or not, but Cody, he's got his channel's called After 5 Outdoors. And I want to get up there and hunt with him. He's come down here to hunt with me, and I want to get up there and hunt with him.
Yeah.
It seems like, I mean, they got the birds. I mean, it's crazy, but when they're shooting birds in October, they're wearing all their gear to stay warm, and I'm like, man,
I know, right?
We're in shorts.
Yeah, we're swatting mosquitoes down here.
Oh man, let's see here.
So for that Florida hunting, are gators? Because we used to have a house in Kissimmee, and my folks still spend the winter down there. In gosh, I never can remember. It's near Sebring, so kind of near Lake Istapoga. And there's gators everywhere. And now we started hunting. I used to hunt Lake Toho there in Kissimmee over Christmas every year, and there was ducks I saw ducks, a bunch of ducks, and there's actually a swamp behind our house that I saw ducks go in all the time. But I mean, how do you guys? I would think anywhere that holds ducks going to hold gators. So how do y'all deal with that down there? I don't. That's just.
I don't get out of the boat. So,
and I wouldn't let my dog out either. And
I wouldn't care. If I go down, when I go down there this year, I will not be carrying my dog.
Yeah, and that to me, that's a big part of it.
It is, but I'm
annoying. Yeah. So you just stay in the boat and pick them up.
Yeah.
One guy online told me he had trained his dog to lean over the side of his boat and pick them up. He'd drive the boat out there. The dog would reach over the side and get the bird.
I'm just not going to carry a dog. I wouldn't do it. And just stay in the boat and just, go get them and come back and set back up. I mean, that's the only thing you can do. Now Billy, that fool, he got out of the boat to pick up decoys, and I'm standing on the bow of the boat going, okay, I'll be your lookout.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got gators in South Carolina.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we have them in North Carolina down that way too.
But they don't. Like I won't carry a dog in September for the early teal.
Okay.
And usually around November, the water temps start to cool down. they get sluggish. I have seen them active into December, but
yeah,
there's here in South Carolina, and I'm not going to say everywhere because somebody will come in here and prove me wrong, but it just seems like over all the years that I've hunted, they don't want to be around all that. The alligators, they're gonna push off.
yeah.
I've had some close calls. I've had some close calls fishing.
Yeah.
I've had some close calls duck hunting. But they just get curious. But it's just one of those deals. But those things that they got down there in Florida, they're just huge and
They're freaking dinosaurs, man.
yeah.
My dad and I were hunting Okeechobee a few years ago, and we saw one that was, I think it hauled up on a bank too, and it was, my boat's 20 feet, and it looked every bit as big as my dang boat, man. It was giant. And I just, I stopped. So we sold the house before Rosie came along, but Elsie, my previous lab, she always loved to go, just, ride on the boat. Of course, up here, I let her, I throw a dummy for her, let her jump in the water and swim. But I had to stop taking her because, first of all, I wasn't going to let her swim, and that's kind of cruel to not let a lab swim.
Yeah.
But she would like to nap with her head hanging off the side of my boat on the back deck, with her head hanging off the side. And I thought, that just looks like you're teasing them. I've seen those.
Yeah.
Heck, one of them grabbed a kid along one of the lakes in Disney World a couple years ago. Right?
Yeah.
So I just left her at home. We had a pool there, and she would just swim laps for 3 hours or whatever. But yeah, that hunting with the gators, that sounds tricky. I haven't snagged one. My grandfather, my mom's parents used to go down south of Kissimmee every year. They were retired. They'd spend all winter down there crappie fishing, and I think he snagged a little one once while he was crappie fishing. But never a big one. It was funny. He was out there by the boat ramp in the campground they stayed at, and some young guys came in a ski boat with skis and stuff. And my grandfather was like, "You boys know there's alligators in that lake, right?" And like, "Oh, you old crazy old man, you know what you're talking about." So they went skiing. He was like, "Y'all have a good time."
Yeah, really.
And he said about 15 minutes they came back, and they're like, "You weren't joking. There's gators everywhere." It's like, I tried to tell you. Yeah, that lake is full of them.
Yeah.
But there is one Lake June, is the lake, the closest lake to where my parents are. I think they're on a canal that feeds Lake June in Florida. And there are very few of them. It's a different type of bottom or something like that. They just don't. And people get out there, and I don't think they're jumping off docks and swimming, but at least they're on jet skis and stuff like that.
Trying to catch.
So what part of Tennessee were you from? Were you in, Ron? I think you may have told me before, and I've just forgotten.
No. No.
Daddy Duck will fight gators for the right ducks.
I will. I have. The story is.
Oh, that's right, Jackson. You told me that. Yeah.
It's about a few years ago. Before I started videoing, I was out there teal hunting, and I mean, one of the few times you actually shoot a limit of teal.
Oh wow!
And I had them. They were everywhere. I finally had shot all my teal. I was getting out of the boat to go retrieve them, and the water wasn't even knee deep.
Yeah.
And I was picking up ducks, and here comes a little 4 or 5 footer.
Yeah.
Beeline into one of my ducks, and I said, "No, sir." And I started running, and I had my shotgun in my hand, and I actually I had it, stock, and I whacked him on the top of the head, so he wouldn't get my duck. Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm not gonna let him get my ducks if I can help it.
Yeah, that part of West Tennessee where Ron's talking about in Jackson, the guy that I grew up duck hunting with, my dad's best friend, was from Milan, Tennessee, and down there on the Obion River. That part of West Tennessee, that's some serious duck ducky habitat down that way.
Yeah, Charles saying come 2 hours south of Raleigh to Lake Waccamaw and look in the canals around the lake. Alligators everywhere, big ones too. Yeah, you got that right.
Where's Lake Waccamaw? 2 hours south of Raleigh. Is that still in North Carolina, or is that in South Carolina?
No, that's southeast.
Lake Waccamaw.
Wow. I was down there last year during the teal season, or up there. We were off the Cape Fear River, and we went down a canal. We had a big barge coming, and so we pulled up stakes, and we were going into this canal to get away from the wake of the barge.
Mm-hmm.
And we rounded a corner, and there's a big one.
Yeah.
He was. I was like, whoa, that's a good one right there.
Wow. After 5 outdoors, all I'm seeing every day is mallards. Well, it's a rough life, I guess, right?
He's the guy up in Minnesota.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, yeah, then that's what you should be seeing up there at this point in time.
That duck can have that gator can have my duck. I'm not going to fight him for it. Oh yeah. We used to, we had a little spot up on the Watery River that we would always go in there and shoot ducks. And there was one year, it was awfully warm. I would say it was in mid-December. And it's just, you know how the South is. Sometimes it just gets hot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we came across a little 2-footer, a little 2.5 footer. And he would just hang around us, and,
Wow.
just swim through the decoy. He'd get, within arm's reach of us while we were standing up next to a cypress tree.
Wow.
All right, Billy, have a good one, buddy.
Hit those bucks, man.
And we named him Chicken. And we were just young and stupid, but we would feed him like crackers and stuff. And sometimes we would go down there if it was a warm day. You'd see Chicken, and
Really?
And every now and then he was getting bigger every year. And then at one time we was like, "No, Chicken, sorry, but you're getting a little too big, and a little too."
A little too friendly.
Gator tail is good. All I can say is gator tail is good.
Yeah, I have eaten it. I was just thinking about that. I was down in Gulf Coast of Florida, I think Homosassa, Florida. A little place there, it's closed, called Otters. It was like one of these old hotels. It was right on the Manatee River. We're sitting there eating gator tail and drinking beer and watching manatees swim. It was just that typical old kind of what you think in Florida or Louisiana kind of places with moss hanging from the trees and stuff. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Tastes like shrimp. Tastes like chicken, right?
It tastes like chicken.
It really kind of does taste like chicken.
The joke with Cody with after 5 outdoors is when he came down here, and I felt real bad. Trust me, I still feel bad when I talk about it, kind of. But he came down, he stayed at our house, and one of my favorite dinners and one of my specialties is a low country shrimp boil.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
And so I made this low country shrimp boil because I knew that he wouldn't get that in Minnesota. This would be like a southern flavor, a southern experience. And he says he tried to kill me, I'm convinced. Little did we know, to include Cody, Local Life, what's going on, buddy? Cody is allergic to shrimp.
Oh, shit.
And didn't know it. And I didn't know it. Nobody knew it.
Well, he didn't know it, yeah.
I got up that morning to go get him to go duck hunting, and where I'm at right now is in one of the back rooms, and there's a bathroom in between, and then there's the spare bedroom. And he was in the spare bedroom, and I came in here to start getting my stuff together, and I knocked on his door, and I didn't hear him, so I opened up the door, and I also heard, whoa, and he was in the bathroom.
Oh man!
And I said, "Dude, you all right?" And he said, no.
Oof.
He was in there just blowing it up, and
Oh man!
needless to say, we didn't hunt that morning. I came in here, and I mean, he's like right there, and I said, "Dude, just go back to bed. I'm gonna be right here,
Right.
editing videos. Don't
Sure.
worry about it."
Yeah.
I went back there and told my wife. I said, "I think we just tried to kill Cody." And does he need to go to the hospital? I said, "No, he'll be all right."
Yeah. Luckily, I don't have any food allergies that I'm aware of. Sometimes onions. My dad's got a real bad onion allergy. There we go. Finally got it out. But usually I'm pretty good. On a head mallard. It's got a banded Susie last year. That's cool. I haven't seen any bands, at least on the bird's eye shooting them
Yeah.
off. So. Since high school, I think.
Cody wrote it. Said she was worried I was a serial killer. There was right before he got here. He says, "Well, where's he staying?" I said, "The back room."
Right.
What if he's some kind of serial killer? I said, we'll find out in the middle of the night. I mean,
I guess we'll find it. We'll cross that bridge when
we don't wake up in the morning. We'll know. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, it was funny. It was funny. But he did like her spaghetti, though.
That's good. That's good. So if Ron knows what a Susie is in West Tennessee, he must know what a gray duck is as well. You know what a gray duck is, Matt?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't
gray
think
mallard, gray duck, gadwall. What do you want to call them?
I don't think gray duck is everywhere because some of my buddies haven't been hunting that long, but we were hunting in Tennessee. He said something about the guy had said something about that being a bunch of gray ducks. They're like gray ducks, and I was like gadwall.
Yeah, we get them here. Used to anyway.
I've seen them shot out on the coast. And they called ringnecks blackjacks.
Blackjacks. Yep. I do the same thing. I call them,
Yeah.
It's like I call wood ducks summer ducks.
Right.
So nobody knows what I'm talking about, and I have to explain it to them. They're wood ducks.
Yeah.
And I have to keep reminding myself to say wood ducks. And the same thing with gadwall or gaddies. We used to call them gray mallards. That's what we called them. We said, "What'd you shoot today?" We shot a bunch of gray mallards.
Huh.
Really? And I was like, "Yeah." And the people of my generation, my hunting generation, everybody knew what you were talking about.
Sure.
But today's generation, they have no idea.
Right. Yeah. And when I hunted out on the coast last year, they called bluebills blackheads. At least I believe that's what they were referring to.
Bluebills?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Scoters. We get those out on the coast. I've never shot any scoters, but I think I have some buddies that have. You got to get out on saltwater. You got to get off the bank.
I know a guy that shot one on fresh water in western North Carolina.
I'll be darned. He was lost. I had a buddy that shot some bluebills last season, just east of here near Enfield, North Carolina. So a couple hours from the coast.
Yeah.
But I guess they'll come in, and I don't know that I've ever seen them, but I think people have. Actually, I'm pretty sure my buddy's son shot one on Jordan Lake last year. So
craziest duck hunt I'd ever been on was in Arkansas, and we were hunting rice fields. Hey, Jan, camping this weekend, can't stick around, keeping the campfire burning, just wanted to arrive. Oh, the hat got there. Okay, good. Good looking hat. And talk to you next Monday. Okay, buddy. Appreciate you stopping in. Hit that thumbs up before you leave. We were in Arkansas. We were hunting rice fields, and we were lucky we could drive the truck almost to the blind.
Oh, wow.
And we'd get out, we'd put the decoys in, and we'd back the truck out, go park it. And we were sitting there, and it got awful warm. It started off cold, and we didn't look at the weather. And you could see this front pushing in this rain.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it got hot. You know what's getting ready to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Next thing you know, we got hail hitting us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're buried down in this pit line. Here comes a tornado. The best place for us to be
is in the ground.
Line,
sure.
And we're buried down. And we never saw the tornado. We heard it, but we never saw it.
Wow.
But about 2 minutes after, here comes a bunch of ducks. And I mean a bunch of ducks.
Huh.
And they zeroed in on our decoys, no calling whatsoever.
Yeah.
And every one of them were bluebills. And we shot bluebills in a rice field in Arkansas.
Wow, that is crazy.
But that was, I don't know what blew them off course, where they came from. I'm quite sure they came off of some of the bigger reservoirs.
Yeah.
Got pushed off and was just looking for a place to sit down. But
sure. What about hunting in dry cornfields? We have corn everywhere, and I've never seen a damn duck in one.
Where are you at, Ron? Where's Ron at?
He's in Ohio, eastern Ohio, almost to Pennsylvania, I think he said. It varies. So I'm working on a video right now that's actually going to probably be about 3 parts. It's about prepping and planning a waterfowl impoundment, and I've actually shot it for the second time because the first time I didn't like anything that came out. But that's an interesting question because it can vary. Like in North Dakota, they'll hammer the mallards in dry cornfields, hammer them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I was a kid in Kentucky, you'd shoot geese,
mm-hmm.
but we didn't shoot. We went to the backwater sloughs to shoot ducks, right? And of course, we don't really have cornfields in any significant quantity around here. It's all cotton and sweet potatoes and peanuts and stuff, right? So I mean, it's interesting too. Tony Vandemore told me once, he was doing a live stream, and I was asking questions and comments. So he's up in Habitat Flats, is up in northeast Missouri, and he has said that he has tried rice up there. Ducks won't eat it. They just ignore it. So I think it's I don't know why. I don't know that anybody knows why, but it seems that some food sources work well in some places and not in others. And I don't have an explanation for it at all. But so yeah, Ron, if they're not using
here's my 2 cents.
Then yeah, they're just not gonna.
Here's my 2 cents.
All right.
I'm speaking mostly of the South and Southeast. We plant our corn very early. We harvest very early. Therefore, there's no return crop. Now you're always going to get spillage. You're going to get spillage when you harvest a field. So
right.
there's no return. We'll have a return crop, but the farmers here, as soon as they plow their corn, they harvest the corn. Weeks later, they're plowing it under again to put winter wheat in, or So there's no food source in our fields. I've never hunted Ohio, but I would assume that they do the same. I'm just saying they probably do the same thing, that they plant early, or they plow their fields under, they till it under for something else.
Yeah.
But in states like what Jeff was saying, Nebraska, Kansas,
It's still,
Missouri, the Dakotas, they plant their corn very late in the year.
uh-huh.
So when they're harvesting their corn, it's duck season. And
That
those
sounds
ducks
about
are going
right.
to
I
hit
think,
that. They're going to hit that spillage.
yep,
The ducks and geese are going to hit that spillage.
yep.
That's my takeaway from it.
I I think I
I've
think you're onto
seen
something with that. Yeah.
in 50 years of duck hunting in South Carolina, I've seen ducks in a dry field 5 times in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
One time was in Kentucky
Yeah.
with wood ducks, and the other 4 times were here in South Carolina.
Yeah.
That these ducks were feeding in a winter wheat field
Right.
that had just gotten either it had the shoots hadn't, they were just coming up.
Right. Right. That's interesting. So we hunted. I was in a club a few years ago that had a cornfield near an impoundment, and they came through and harvested the corn. It might have been September, and I remember seeing corn spilled everywhere, and I thought, wow, if this hangs around. And I knew there were geese in the area. And I was like, wow, if this hangs around, we might get some geese in here. Well, it was September in North Carolina. It was still 80-something degrees, right? And we got some rain, and all that spillage sprouted,
Right.
and started growing. So by the time you could shoot a duck, of course, I guess September, we do have September goose season, but I mean, by the time duck season rolled around,
it's all grown up.
yeah, yeah, it is odd. Why, like I said, Ron, it's Matt's point is good. I mean, it depends on, are they harvesting during duck season? Maybe they have better sources. Maybe, I mean, up there in the Dakotas, there's a lot of farming, right?
Right.
So that's where they've got to go. In Ohio, maybe they just have more desirable food sources to go to. I don't know, or maybe by the time they get to you, their mind's on something different. I will say, people have success with corn around here. And after the season last year, when I threw corn out in my impoundments, ducks were all over it. They were stacking up in there. So they'll eat it. I mean, I don't know. It'd be nice, Ron, if you knew somebody that would let you flood out one of those fields after if you had a way to do so, to flood a field after it had been harvested, you might get some action then.
But I mean, that's my takeaway.
I think it makes very good sense. That sounds very reasonable.
We just plant early and we harvest early, and then we got something else that we're putting in the ground. And a lot of those, especially the corn belt states, I may be wrong on this, and if I am, somebody set me straight, but they plant corn, they harvest it, and by the time they harvest it, they're not planting anything else. Now, there may be some that are planting winter wheat or something of that nature, but generally so there's a lot of spillage in those fields, and and it's late. I mean, you got to remember their duck season starts in September, October.
Right.
And that's where the ducks are going to be. I mean, they're going to be hitting. I mean, they're not dumb.
Nope.
And the colder weather, they're going to want carbohydrates. So they're eating corn, they're eating, millets, they're eating the smartweed seeds and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And see, by the time they get down to us, yes, they will eat corn, of course, but they're looking more and more for the invertebrates, for the protein, to continue their trip and for egg production back in the nesting areas.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we're going with an outfit. I think our dates are going to be in January. It's a pretty well-known group here. It's called Dare to Hide. They're up in Hyde County, North Carolina, which is kind of where you want to be. But But I talked, and it's not. They call it a club. But I mean, we're going to show up and stay at the clubhouse and hunt for 4 days and come home. But and he said I can get you a guide if you want one. I guess so. Maybe that's the difference.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very. I mean, the club I was in before, it was just a club, and you hunted all season, and you could do that there with him if you want to pay for it, I guess. But I was talking to him, and I just assumed it was going to be a flooded corn impoundment, and he says he does all his stuff as moist soil management now, so it's all going to be natural vegetation. So yeah,
Wow.
they get down here, and especially that time of year, January, they're looking for some protein too. So
Yeah.
so hopefully we'll get in them.
Well, we are closing in on 2 hours, believe it or not. Guys, here's the deal. I want to make this kind of a weekly thing with Bruce. And hey, Craig, you finally showed up. I kind of want to make this a weekly deal, bouncing back from our channels, my channel to his channel. And when Chris finally gets here, to bounce to his channel. For those of you who don't know, it's Chris at Duckalope Outdoors. He's got a pretty good channel, small channel.
Yeah, he's got good stuff.
And he does some taxidermy work. We're just trying to get a little group of us on panels to talk about, duck hunting is what our passion is, and y'all's passion as well. So that's what we're pushing for. I've been talking to Bruce and Chris about this for a couple of weeks now, wanting to get this really started. So we may be bouncing back and forth. It may not be on a Monday. So if you're not subscribed to any one of the 3 channels, please consider it. Because, like I said, we're going to try to bounce around a little bit to each other's channels and hang out and just do what we like to do best, and that's just talk about ducks.
That's right.
Anything and everything. What in the world, Jeff, are you trying to say?
Well, I think he's trying to say Memorial Day. Maybe.
Maybe. That's next weekend, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah, next Monday.
That is, if it's Memorial Day, that is the weekend. Thanks a lot, Anti. There it is, Duckalope Outdoors. Memorial Weekend is to bless and to think about those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. The veterans, we have our own special day, which is later on in November. So the Memorial Day is for those who have given the ultimate sacrifice.
Yep.
That's how I look at it.
You're exactly right.
Ron says, I don't understand the difference in flooding corn and throwing corn out.
We don't have enough time to talk about that tonight.
No, we don't.
Let's start the next conversation with that. I'll be here next Monday as well. That's a great place. Let's table that one, because that could be a long conversation.
I almost.
But let's talk about that next time. What's the difference between? Well, that's the whole baiting thing. Because I know a lot of people would say that planting anything and flooding it without harvesting it should be baiting. But let's not. It's 10 o'clock. It's late. We've been on here for 2 hours. Let's save something for next time.
We'll save it for next time.
Yep.
All right, guys. I want to thank each and every one of y'all coming out tonight. I really do appreciate it. Tell your friends, man. We want to make this a big thing, a big deal.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Trying to get as many duck hunters as we can in here and just have a good time, laugh and cut up. But we will, Ron, we are going to take care of that next Monday. Now
we'll get it.
We will
have opinions.
We're going to hit. That's going to be our main topic next Monday.
That sounds good.
But anyway, y'all have a great night. Bruce, again, thank you so much.
Hey, anytime, man. It's a good time.
I enjoy having you on here. Hopefully Chris can make it next time.
Yep.
But for all y'all have a great week. Take care of yourselves. And we will see y'all next time on Daddy Duck 365. And don't forget to go see Bruce.
That's
All
right.
Y'all have a good night.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.